Hi guys, this is Mike and welcome back to our Stream of Consciousness series. Today we're going to talk a little bit about mods, and I'll try to queue up a picture. I'm not in the video business, so it takes me a long time to do videos properly, so please come back and visit us. Maybe we'll polish this one up.
Here's what the head looked like pre-mod.
We're going to talk about essentially introduce the idea of modding. And one of the characteristics of a proper hawk is usually a longer head. Usually. There's always an exception. It's relatively narrow. So if you can't lengthen the head, make it more narrow and watch the characteristics change on that head.
Here's an image of the modified hawks on the walkabout bag I have, pictured with two Gen 1 Mark 5.5 Firehawks, which have unmodified Cold Steel Trailhawk heads, which we'll get into later.
Those who've watched me know that I'm a big fan in general for a general purpose proper hawk, which is what a proper hawk is. It's right in the middle between what I consider fighting and bushcraft. I consider that a continuum. It's pretty good at both without a lot of penalty. But the trailing mass of a spike or a pawl, especially the way I fight, which is this way first, this way to finish, it's very useful. But on a lot of heads, the bit is really large or long, and that isn't necessarily bad. But for as big as the bit is, it should be further out to be advantageous, I think. So you see a lot of great bushcraft guys demonstrating axes lately. There's a big axe craze, getting away from tomahawks, because I think it's because people are getting older and not getting out. They're not carrying those axes around. But watch them, watch those videos when they're chopping, and watch when they strike the wood. They don't have extended pawls. And what do? They go, "Brrr." Well, that doesn't just make the strike less effective. It also, feeds back into your arms. Some of the good old boys that have been swinging axes forever that I've known, including lumberjacks, they are really built for that and make it look easy. But the qualities of something without a trailing mass is always going to have that speed wobble, and unless you turn it around, like on a Norse hawk. But that's another discussion. Let's talk about just some simple mods. Again, I'll try to cue the picture up of the before picture, but this is all my friend Scott's idea. It's not exactly how I would do it, but it's such a good hawk head. I really had to just a good idea, and all it is I took off some useless mass. And
Here again is a recap of the before and after pictures of those hawks, so you can appreciate what was taken off.
Immediately you can feel the difference on this modified pipe hawk. This is really, to me, if you have to have a large pawl, what the Cold Steel Rifleman, which I've always been a fan of, replaced my Grand Swords Brooks Forest Axe. This is what it should have been. This is what the Vietnam hawk should have been, in my opinion. Although I do like the Vietnam's straight bit that they tend to have. For bushcraft, actually, it's a small sacrifice. The curve is also very useful. Instead of making a straight cut like I did on the pipe hawk, you might be able to see that it's just sort of a little radius. And it just flows well with the aesthetics of the ventral side of this hawk head. I don't know if you can appreciate that. It also feels good if you take it off the stick, if you have it on a standard haft. It also feels good when you are using it like a knife or a chisel, a hand chisel, or makes a great hand adze. And you can imagine it's probably pretty awesome to fight with too. I felt kind of like I was holding a caveman version of my Eco Hawk.
Here's an example of an EcoHawk for folks who have no idea what I'm talking about.
Which is about a third the weight of this thing probably, and completely flat. But love it. All I did was put an epoxy, sort of a flat earth color on it to send it back to my brother Scott, who is just a hard-working genius. And I hope you get motivated to mod your own heads. It doesn't take a whole lot. I did this one for a trade, so maybe you've got somebody that'll do it for you too, if you don't feel like it. But holy cow, are these nice. You know, guess what you're going to see on some vectorized Hawks pretty soon on the Gen 1 Hawk handle. So, rant over, except to say that this is a Bug Hawk, and all it is, for those who aren't familiar, is a modified Cold Steel Trail Hawk. I took off some of the weight of the edges of the pawls, and a friend of mine actually did these, and I made a shark's tooth style beard, which I don't know if I developed it or not. I don't really read a lot of other people's stuff. I just say, you know, what do we want? Let's do that. But I've been doing these for a long time now, and I think they're a great addition to the characteristics of the head, both for bushcraft and for fighting. So that's about it. Future vids, just to mention, I want to talk about unmodified heads and what they might be considered to be great at, like this Cold Steel Trail Hawk mounted on a little stub of my composite Gen 1 Mark 5.5 handle as a mouse hawk. You know, it's getting to be hunting season. Yeah, got some new awesome bags for walkabout, and fall is when I get frisky, and you know, time to go on the stock. So I made these two styles, which I really like, which I'm calling Firehawks, because the hemp on them is one of my favorite tenders, and I'll probably fill the inside with hemp too, so you can just pull it out and you're all set. Anyway, rant over. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll try to be a little more structured in future videos, just trying to get stuff out because it's been a while. But thanks a lot. Have a good day.